Please find a seat. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this special hometown homecoming for Madison Marsh. Before I get started today, I would be remiss if I did not pause to thank our sponsors. Thanks to the U.S. Marshals Museum for providing this space. Thanks to the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education, River Valley Democrat Gazette, First National Bank of Fort Smith, ArcVest, Arvest, and our coffee sponsor, Fort Smith Coffee Company. Let's give them a round of applause. It's awesome to see our community come together for events like this. It's amazing for me to see. Now, I want to recognize also the special guests in the room. Today we have Fort Smith Mayor George McGill, City Administrator Carl Gefkin, Jesse Sully from Senator Bozeman's office, Representative Steve Womack, thank you for being here, and several members from our City of Fort Smith Board of Directors, Levon Morton, Christina Katsavas, Neil Martin, and Jared Rigo, and George Katsavas. Thank you for being here today. What an incredible day in Fort Smith, Arkansas, as we welcome home Madison Marsh, our very own Miss America 2024. Now, we're not just here to celebrate her title, but to honor her remarkable journey that brought her to this moment. A journey that resonates deeply with the spirit of our city, known for its resilience, its grit, determination, and integrity. Now, as the city's public relations manager, I have been promoting a new slogan in Fort Smith. It's that we are Arkansas's trailblazing city. See, we're a community full of trailblazers, of pioneers, from Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves, one of the first African-American marshals, to renowned painter John Bell Jr., who refused to let his physical challenges keep him from achieving great success. From General William O. Darby, who founded what would become the modern-day Army Rangers, to Virginia Maud Dunlap Duncan, who paved the way for women in Arkansas in the fields of pharmacy and government. These people blazed a path forward, just as Madison Marsh is doing today. Madison's story starts right here in Fort Smith, where she was raised. Her parents, Mike and Whitney Marsh, instilled in her those very values that we cherish. Her dad, a well-respected physician, and her mom, a dedicated court-appointed special advocate, set the stage for Madison's commitment to service. Now, the loss of her mother to pancreatic cancer when Madison was just 17 profoundly shaped her future, driving her to become an advocate for cancer awareness and to found the Whitney Marsh Foundation in her mother's honor, raising funds for crucial cancer research. From her early years at Southside High School to her adventures in space camps and flying lessons, earning her pilot's license at, I believe, the age of 16, Madison has continually pushed the boundaries. Her love for the skies took her to the United States Air Force Academy, where she graduated with a degree in astrophysics. Today, not only is she Miss America 2024, but she also serves as a second lieutenant in the Air Force and is the very first member of the armed services to win the Miss America title. Now, as she pursues a master's of public policy at the Harvard Kennedy School, Madison is determined to impact policy on education, health, and further research on pancreatic cancer. Her journey serves as a model for all young women who dream of making a difference, showing that with resilience and dedication, any dream can be achieved. Madison, you're a role model to so many people, and Fort Smith is incredibly proud of everything you represent: perseverance, intelligence, and compassion. So welcome home. Keep blazing your trail forward. We can't wait to see all the wonderful things that you will achieve and how you'll continue to inspire us all. Next, I would like to welcome to the podium a pioneer in his own right, a trailblazer who is dedicated to public service, the first African-American mayor of Fort Smith, Arkansas, Mayor George B. McGill.
I want everybody to pause for one moment and take a look. It don't get any better than that, Congressman. You look out across the beautiful Arkansas River on a day like today, when we celebrate the homecoming of one of our very own. Madison, good to see you. Welcome home. And we love what you're doing to represent our city. The timing is perfect, Congressman, as we embrace the foreign military sales mission with aircraft. And then we've got our own pilot, United States Air Force. Incredible times, and we're so glad that you're here. At this time, I'm going to present you with a proclamation. To the City of Fort Smith, a proclamation on the occasion of Miss America 2024 Madison Marsh's homecoming. Whereas Fort Smith, Arkansas native Madison Marsh was crowned Miss America in 2024 on January 14th of 2024. And whereas Ms. Marsh, a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, is the first active duty Air Force officer to earn the title of Miss America. And that's cool. Whereas, inspired by her mother, Whitney Marsh, who passed away from pancreatic cancer at the tender age of 41, Madison has committed herself to cancer research and learning public policy to bring about better health legislation and transform patient care. And whereas she imbues the role of Miss America 2024 with a character and academic and military achievements and dedications to service that make her well suited to represent the very best of our nation. And where it is fitting that Fort Smith celebrate and express the great pride in Madison, a trailblazer whose extraordinary accomplishments exemplifies the city's undaunted spirit, knowing that this is only the beginning of what we'll see from her in the future. Now, therefore, I, George B. McGill, Mayor of the great city of Fort Smith, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim Friday, May the 10th of 2024 as Miss America 2024 Madison Marsh Day in the city of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Would you stand, please? Now, since she's a native of Fort Smith, she really doesn't need a key to the city. But I couldn't resist making sure she had one. So, this is the key to the city of Fort Smith, Arkansas, awarded to Miss America Madison Marsh on this 10th day of May, the year 2024, presented by your mayor, George B. McGill.
Next, we have some remarks from Congressman Steve Womack.
Thank you, and welcome everybody to this beautiful museum for the homecoming of our very own Madison Marsh. You know, you can serve in Congress for any amount of time. You could do it for a term or a number of terms. And go through that period of time and never have the opportunity to witness and to enjoy what I've been able to witness and enjoy. And that is the journey that takes one of your constituents from high school through the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado, then on to being crowned Miss America, and who the heck knows what's next? Because I learned early in this journey that it's best not to get in her way. She truly is a trailblazing type. Some of you in this room know our history. But for those of you that don't, I think it's important to know it, because I am committed to making sure that our military is led by the very best and brightest officers that we can produce, and a number of them are in my district. As a matter of fact, true story, about half of the young men and women who are at service academies today who call Arkansas home hail from the 3rd District. About half. So we know we have quality young men and women matriculating through our schools. And because we have an all-volunteer force, part of our genius as a country, it deserves to be led by the best and brightest. So I make it a special point in my time in Congress to make sure that I afford every potential candidate the opportunity to go should they so desire. So we have programs every spring. Back then, it was one in the Valley and one in Northwest, where we would invite these young people to come and listen and see and to figure out just what is the path to an academy. And I'll never forget that day. In that spring of April of 18, when I was standing in the foyer of Southside High School, our venue for Academy Day. And I could walk to the spot on the floor today where this skitty little blonde walked up to me by herself, and she asked if I was Congressman Womack. And I said, well, yes, I am. And she says, well, let me introduce myself. I'm Madison Marsh, and I think I might be interested in what you're promoting here today. Now, that doesn't happen often. Rare is it that it happens when the young person comes up by themselves. Usually they have a parent in tow or two, as was the case that day. It was a Saturday morning. And so I quickly go through my mental checklist of qualifications to make sure that the conversation we're about to have is a worthy one. There are a lot of people that want to go to the Air Force Academy or to West Point or to Annapolis who do not have the qualifications to compete. Not this one. So I started in almost machine gun fashion. What about your grades? What about your class standing? Have you taken the ACT? Tell me about your leadership positions. Tell me what you're involved in. And one by one, this young lady checked every single block that I could ask. So automatically, I knew that young lady was qualified. And I remember asking her that day because it struck me as odd. She was by herself. And so I said, hey, by the way, where are your parents? And she told me of her father being a doctor, and I believe on call that day. And then she proceeded to tell me that her mother was ill, that indeed her mother had a bad diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. I want this room to know that I have never had someone reach into my chest cavity, figuratively, and grab my heart like Madison did that day. And I told her, I said, young lady, I can't guarantee this 100%, but I can tell you that my life's mission right now is to make sure that you are able to pursue your dreams. If I have anything to say about it, you're going to go to the U.S. Air Force Academy. And she became what we call my principal nominee, which meant that assuming the Air Force qualified her, that before they could take anybody else, they had to take her. And so she went. And she distinguished herself. I remember her texting me. I still have it on my phone, texting me of her class schedule her freshman year, and that she was in fourth year classes designed for seniors. It didn't surprise me. Now, she never told me that freshman year that she thought about quitting, but she did later. And every time kept kind of going back to that promise she made to her mother and her commitment she made to us that she was going to graduate at the Air Force Academy. Now, secretly, not so secretly, I had a buddy of mine, Alfredo Sandoval from California, an Air Force Academy grad, dear friend, who goes up there from time to time and has people, his buddies, there. And I had him supervising Madison, mentoring her, making sure that everything worked. He did that as a favor to me. And we chatted just last week about your accomplishments. And then later she became a Truman Scholar and called me one day and told me that she wasn't, and had been accepted to Harvard Kennedy School, and called me one day to tell me that she did not think that that was going to come to fruition because the Truman Scholarship only paid a certain amount, and that there would be a big delta, and that she might not be able to go on to the Harvard Kennedy School. And so I called Alfredo, and I said, Alfredo, we got a challenge here. And I'll never forget Alfredo saying, all right, let me call you back here in just a few minutes. What I didn't know is Alfredo had a buddy that sat on the board at Harvard that controlled all that money. And he just basically called them and said, you guys are going to pay for the rest of this education. Do you understand that? And they, yes, sir. And he called me back and he says, all right, it's done. Now, I didn't tell Madison that, but she later texted me and said she got an email from Harvard that says the rest is paid. And again, a new start, a new beginning, and off and running she was. And then it was that text I got one night about 12:30 that said to me, hey, I'm going to go to the Miss America pageant. And I thought, you're about to graduate from the Air Force Academy. Why would you be running off and going to the Miss America pageant? You know, I know you're interested in beauty pageants, but you're about to graduate. That's what I'm thinking. I had no idea she had been crowned Miss Colorado, and that the reason she was going to Miss America was because she was Miss Colorado. Anyway, then the date was set for the pageant. She graduated. Date was set for the pageant, and we all watched with great anticipation you making the top 10, you making the top 5, and then little by little. My wife and I are sitting on our couch with my iPad watching this unfold, and with every single person named a runner-up, my wife would look at me and she would say, "She's gonna win. She's gonna win." And then it was you in Texas. And I'm thinking, Lord, don't let us lose to Texas. She's an amazing young lady. And I have, as a defense appropriator, I have a unique relationship with the highest levels of our military. It's not bragging, it's just a statement of fact that the service chiefs and the service secretaries are going to listen to and engage the people who sit on the Defense Subcommittee of Appropriations. It's just a fact. And I called then the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, who now is our chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and I called Frank Kendall, the Secretary of the Air Force, and I just wanted to establish open lines of communication because I knew the Air Force had something they didn't know what to do with. It was an opportunity that the Air Force had that money cannot buy. And I encouraged them to look at this as an opportunity to help deliver the message of the Air Force into any academic institution, any business, any industry in America who would like to have Miss America on their grounds. And to their credit, they did, they have, and they will. Kept her on active duty, making special considerations for her other duties, while at the same time making sure that the taxpayers of America get what they deserve, and that is a commitment from this young lady, aside from being a beauty queen. So that's the story. I tell it a lot to illustrate that we are lucky. We're Americans. And this is truly the land of opportunity. And her story is not just the story of Miss America. It is the story of America. That you can be anybody, do anything, be all you can be. Sorry, that's Army, I understand. You can become whatever it is that you want to become because you're an American. And it is my hope that over the next course of several months, as she finishes her reign as Miss America, and then beyond as an officer in the U.S. Air Force, that she will continue to inspire the Madison Marshes of the world, the young ladies out there who aspire to do exactly what she's accomplished. That is my hope. And so on this day, it is a special moment of privilege for me to recognize and to celebrate this amazing story of a little old skinny blonde from Southside High School who now is the envy of every young girl in America. Madison, welcome home. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Womack. Now we're going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. Madison's going to come up and answer any questions. Oh, yeah, certainly.
I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone because none of this would have happened without my hometown of Arkansas. One of my favorite titles is being an Arkansan, and I know I went from Colorado, but I had to go from Colorado because of the Air Force Academy. But it was this city and the family that was provided here that made me who I am. My family that's sitting up here, our close friends that have become family, all of our volunteers at our nonprofit for the Whitney Marsh Foundation, they are what has made my experience here great. And it's been so fantastic that I haven't gotten to come home since Christmas, but this place is exactly how I've left it for the past 5 years. Obviously, we've grown as a community, but what has remained true is the family and the community environment that we have every single day in Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's what makes this town one of the best places in the country. And I was talking to Southside earlier today about how I've been all over the U.S. the past couple of months, but there's been no town like Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I'm just so blessed to get to have this opportunity to get to be from this city because this is where dreams are made. This town, these people, every single day, I'm so lucky that I get to call myself an Arkansan. And I want to give a special thank you to the city of Fort Smith for setting up this wonderful day, letting me go talk to my former schools and the students there because I see myself in them. I see looking down at the kindergartners that I sat in that exact seat a really long time ago. And then looking out to some of the high schoolers that are about to embark on some of the journeys that I've been on the past couple of years. And it's just really wonderful getting to see the love that exists in this town. And I also want to take a little bit to talk about our nonprofit because we have seen the family environment from Fort Smith after my mom passed away. Our first year when we got to open up the Whitney Marsh Foundation with my family and friends that had helped us, we had a record-breaking race with close to or over 1,000 people in our town showing up for my mom. Every single year we've gotten to see that replicated because people care not only about my mom, but making this city better. And so on behalf of the Whitney Marsh Foundation, we're really excited to announce that moving forward, our funds for this year 100% will be allocated to Fort Smith in Arkansas because we are dedicated to bringing better cancer education and care to our town. We saw firsthand with my mom that we don't want patients to have to travel outside of Arkansas to be given a shot at survival. We need to have comprehensive care clinics right here in our hometown so all Arkansans and people in Fort Smith can get the care that they deserve. We're really excited to continue working with Mercy Hospital and hopefully open up some early detection clinics for pancreatic cancer within the comprehensive care hospital. We know that right here is where we can make the difference and save patients' lives. So anyone that has ever been involved or has helped us, has donated or shown up, I want you to know that your time and your money has been well spent, and hopefully we continue making strides right here in our hometown because that's what gives people the extra days and the extra hours with their loved ones. All of this new research that's been coming out the past couple of years, I wish we would have had that when my mom was diagnosed. But now we're so lucky to get to see some of that coming back here to Arkansas because if we can give a family an extra moment with their loved ones, then it makes it all worth it because I know that my family would have given anything to give that to my mom. So we're so grateful, and we're also super excited to announce that our race this year on November 9th is going to be held right here at the Marshalls Museum with this beautiful view of Arkansas in the background. And so I just want to thank the Marshalls Museum and everyone else that's been involved in this entire process because it's been so wonderful to see how we can memorialize my mom's life, and it means a lot to my family and for pancreatic cancer patients all across the state of Arkansas. So thank you. And now open for questions. Seeing my dog. No, I mean, I just love getting to sit in my childhood bedroom because I grew up and I lived in the same house my entire life. And so it's just so wonderful seeing how, even though I've changed over the years, there's so many constants of the love that still exists in this town. And so it's those small things that just symbolize what makes this place so special for me. Yes. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of people. I can't rank them. I've been really happy. My little sister is actually right here in the front row, and so she moved away to Dallas this year for school. But getting to have a lot of my family back here in our house is super special. I get to have my aunt Renee, my cousin Maddie, who's the one that got me into pageants, my aunt Steph, who's right here, my Nana. And so we get to have all of my family here, and that's what I love about not only coming back for the homecoming, but every year when we do Whitney's race, all of our family comes in, all of our friends, our loved ones, and it's such a special day to get to have everyone in the same place to do something that's special for our town, but also remembering and honoring her life by doing things with each other that we love. My Air Force career being impacted by this? So currently I'm not in any Air Force training. So right after the Air Force Academy, my very first title or that I was given to be assigned to was being a student at Harvard. So it was a very special program that's done out of the Air Force Institute of Technology Civilian Institution programs. And so they had sent me there, and so that was my very first assignment. So I got paid to attend school there. After I won Miss America, the Air Force decided to basically keep me on active duty as long as I'm doing recruiting. So I've had a bunch of amazing people all the way up at the Pentagon level that are working every single day to make this work with my scheduling. So when I'm not in this, I'm in my Air Force uniform. I'm in classrooms, I'm in boardrooms, I'm going to different schools and meeting with different age groups and people that might not necessarily have seen themselves being able to serve before and being able to change that narrative for them. And so opening up the opportunities and talking about what the Air Force has given to me. Because starting from the moment that I went from the Air Force Academy and am now here a year after I've graduated, I've seen how it's changed my life. And so that's what I'm trying to impart upon the rest of the nation and really talking about what it means to serve and really honoring the amazing country that we get to live in and hopefully instilling some of that patriotism in people at a young age. Thank you. All good? Okay. Well, I've been saying a lot that winning Miss America has not been about me. It's been about the people that have backed me for my entire life. I wouldn't have gotten to do anything without them. I definitely would not have ever started competing in pageants without the people and the family and the loved ones that stood beside me and pushed me every day. And I think that coming back to Fort Smith just stands as a testament to how amazing this town is and really how they're willing to rally behind anyone and everyone. So it's been beautiful. So I'll actually share a special story with Congressman Steve Womack. So he didn't talk about this earlier. It's gonna make me a little choked up. So a special part of his story that he gave me was I got some special acceptance to the Air Force Academy, so I had gotten in earlier. That wasn't expected, and so he had called me on October 31st. Called me while I was in, I think it was Michael's. I don't know, I was getting like plastic animals for school or something. And I got a call from him saying that I had gotten into the Air Force Academy. And the next morning, my mom passed away. So he gave me the opportunity with one of the last things that I told my mom was that I was gonna achieve my dreams. And so he just holds such a special place in my heart because Congressman Womack had given me the opportunity to do something that I love, to serve the country that I love, and also having that special moment with my mom that even though she didn't get to see me step foot at the Air Force Academy or graduate, she got to know that I was gonna go. So, thank you. Sorry, what'd you say? Oh.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that. At this time, we're going to move into a meet and greet portion of the day, which is open to the public. So if you're actually here for the meet and greet, would you mind, you have to wait outside to line up for the meet and greet before it happens. So please line up outside the doors for the meet and greet. Thank you all for being here today. There is a parade this evening as well at 6:30. The streets close at 6. You're all invited to come out and celebrate at the parade this evening. But until then, and thank goodness the weather held off today, It's nice and sunny and beautiful outside. So thank you all for being here. Please grab a snack, grab a cookie, grab some coffee, and thank you, Madison, for sharing today.